for our students. And it was so slow to take off. I was a little maybe disappointed because we put out different options for them to vote on. And Discord is what they chose. And so, but it was really, really quiet until this week when they started in their classes. And now they're starting to go back and forth between themselves. So this is really timely. So I'm excited about it.
Oh, great. Well, that's awesome. Looks like we're getting a few more people in. And as for always, this is a recorded session. So we'll post it on the T3 Alliance Discord server after we're done and in other places so you guys can view it. I'm Adam Lau, and I'm the Assistant Director for the Upward Bound program at University of Alaska Fairbanks. I've also been at a lot of trainings in the past and have had my hat in the T3 Alliance world for a long time. So I feel like I know each of you guys from other circles or from, you know, instances where we had a chance to meet. But thank you for coming today for this webinar. I'd like to introduce my co-hosts that I have. One is my son, Gabriel Lau. He's coming to us from Medellin, Colombia. Wave, Gabriel. There he is. And then Jake Au. He is working with us from Hilo, Hawaii, and he's been working with us on our Discord server that we've built. And I can say, as a person who's been working on this for a little while, Jake brings that level of, like, you know, he just leveled up to the next car. You know, if you're talking about, I had a Ford and now I'm driving a Maserati, as he has helped us modify what is going to come out with the Discord server that you'll see a little bit later. It's got a lot of bots and a lot of things in it that really make things work out well. I felt like we're doing pretty well on our, everybody knows how to be in Zoom, so I don't need to give you guys a Zoom moment. You know, you're welcome to mute yourself. You're welcome to chat in the sidebar. Once I start sharing my screen, Gabriel's going to be attuned to, like, what's going on. And if you guys have a question, interrupt me. You know, we'll have time to answer any of the questions you guys have. So please feel like this is put together for your opportunity today. And yeah, we'll go ahead and get started. All right, I'm going to share my screen and we will bring things out. I see a lot of people from different places. So excited to have everybody. Okay, and you guys should be able to see my screen now, right? Somebody's giving me a thumbs up, and I'll go to present, start presentation. All right, so Discord is been in our words a lot lately, and it is a group communication platform. So here's what we're going to learn today. First, about Discord, because honestly, 5 years ago, I don't think anybody heard very much about Discord because it hadn't been invented yet. But when we talk about Discord, we're just gonna, so what is it? Like, imagine we're talking to your grandma or an administrator at the school who's never heard of Discord, and that's the kind of answer we want to get across. How would someone set up and manage one? And really, yeah, that's where I see many of you taking this information. After we talk today, I hope that you feel like you're comfortable enough to jump in and say, all right, I'm going to start one for my program. And here's some safety things that I put in check to make sure that, you know, students know where they are. And here's some other things that'll make it run smoothly. We'll go into how the T3 Alliance server works, and then how the new courses server works, the T3 courses. And that's the one that I mentioned that's kind of our Maserati version of what has been done before. It's got lots of cool bots and things like that. I think bots are awesome, but we'll hear more about that a little bit later. So first, history of Discord. Take a look at this graph here. This is April 15th when Discord was first released. And then right now, this was like the last few months. So what I'm finding is a lot of my students, when they come in, they're like, oh yeah, I know Discord. I've been using Discord. I've been on it and sure, give me the code. So I feel like as adults, we're somewhat of digital immigrants here. We're the ones coming into what is an existing community or an existing group of people who are already using something, and we just need to know enough to get in. Discord is totally a communication platform. So what's awesome about it is it can be on all sorts of different devices, you know, iOS, Android. You can run it on your Raspberry Pi. You can run it on pretty much anything. It can run on a web app. So anything that gets a web page can run Discord. You can do messages. You can do links to documents, photos, videos, multiple servers, and then that beautiful last one, automation with bots. And to me, it's that part that really makes it so that somebody who's posting something can get that immediate feel-good feeling of, yeah, somebody just noticed. Even if it's a bot, it still can generate the same kind of warm, fuzzy feelings like, hey, I just finished a section, or I just made my first post, and now I get a wow, awesome, way to go. So here's a picture of a video gamer who's like in the middle of a game, but they want to communicate. So gamers, we have them to thank for bringing this into our world. But I'm going to show you an example of what we've watched in the last month as it's been, taking off as the platform of choice for talking about COVID response. All the pandemic PPE stuff. If you guys go searching out there, you'll find 20,000 people in a Discord server that is almost self-organized, and it's running in itself. So that's not only in the COVID response area, that's also in, bicycle things and other topic specific areas. So a global community is really what's there. And then I think we're kind of on the edge of where it's being used in education. There are some examples, and we're hoping to show that to you today and kind of give you a layer up. I want you to think of it less like a classroom and more like a community. And when I say that, the idea that everyone is a helper, I've been watching in the last week, 2 weeks, is the staff in the Upward Bound program at University of Alaska Fairbanks has been jumping into our Discord server. And when they get stuck on something, they throw out a comment, and all of a sudden, I like to think of dog piles, like everybody jumps in and says, hey, I'll help you with that. Let's figure this out. So here, if we look at this community server, which was free to join, this is one for PPE. Notice they've got recommended projects, face shield files, face shields general, hey, sewn masks. So if you're coming in saying, I'm ready to help, I'm looking for a community, they can put you in the right place relatively easily. And once you go into that place, you post something, and just like Facebook kind of is a stream of consciousness, kind of like, here's the latest update, the next thing, then someone will post it and it'll go along on those kind of ones. So it's a little different than what a classroom would look like, where it's, hey, I'm going to force everybody to go through a certain thing. We can talk about some of the ways that we control that, or we can still control it for a classroom environment. But first, this is about just general Discord, so that we kind of have the background information. Then we'll go into the specifics of how it happens for different ones. First of all, they have conversation buckets, and you saw that in that last slide. So if you're talking about sewn masks, if you're talking about a Raspberry Pi project, or the fact that you like certain color flowers, whatever it is, that becomes the area that some administrator or some person with the power to create those buckets gets to make them. You can have a lot of servers that you're members of. At first, I used to only be member of T3 Alliance server, but now I have a UAF server. I'm also following on COVID servers, and I'm following on test servers, and there's all sorts of different servers. You could be in lots and lots of servers, and indeed, many of your students likely are. One thing that's fun is you can know who's online. If you click in a server and you see a little green glow next to someone's name, then bang, hey, I'm going to chat them instantly, or I'm going to just know that if I put it in there, I expect them to respond unless they're ignoring me or unless they're busy or something. You can direct message people. There's voice box and there's a video box. So really easy to jump into a Zoom call or something like that with a Discord server. It's organized. And this is what we were just speaking about, as a list of servers. And then there's the current server that you happen to be in. There's channels, and there's what they're called nested categories. We're going to share that we kind of tend to put these things as classrooms or as groups, where we keep groups together, but they can be in all sorts of different ways. Here we are defining what a Discord server is. It's a distinct community of users. So some of them are open, some of them are are closed. The T3 Alliance one, for example, you need to be from an institution that has been to one of our trainings or have been somehow associated with T3 Alliance so that you're in. We may change that someday in the future, but for now, it is a invite only server. There's other servers where you just say, hey, I want to be there, and there'll be a method for verifying that you're not a hacker or a bot or something like that. But it could be that you have servers for different classes. You could have servers for different, institutions. You could have servers for staff. You could make as many servers as you want, and indeed your students could as well. So categories and channels, just know that the category is the one that's, off to it, like it's the holder or the container into which you have the individualized conversation channels. So this category for summer staff is specifically anything that's in here is something that only people who are in summer staff can see, which makes it so that it's like blind to anyone else. They just don't even know there's a summer staff category. But when a certain user has that role, then I can assign them to that category and allow them to see stuff that's in there. Okay, and then roles and permissions, yes. Every server has this cool little thing at the top. When you hit on the server settings button on the top, and for those of you who are in a T3 Alliance server, you wouldn't necessarily get to see the server settings unless you have permissions set in. But if you built your own, then you could go in and click on server settings, or if you have access to one, and you could go in and start noticing that there's little things like roles that you can put in. And here's the example for what roles we put in last summer for our Upward Bound one, thinking, hey, if you're an Upward Bound coordinator at one of our sites, if you're an instructor, if you're a residence hall mentor, for visitors, I've even started putting ones down for the specific community that you live in so that we can granularize, hey, I want them to have their own bucket space, their own area where they can just talk about topics. If I ever see a user and I want to right click on that user, I can add roles that are already in the system in this way. So I add an instructor and now he can see everything in that channel that's there. I call him my 2020 staff. As specific as I want to be, I can make it that granular as it moves down. I'm going to let Gabriel talk about how do I start.
Great, thank you. So if we go to the next slide, we can see, so hopefully most of you who are on this call now, and even those of you watching it, have already kind of figured out how to get into Discord, open the app, sign in, create your account. But for those of you who may have not, or want to teach your new instructors and employees how to, hopefully this is like a guide for that. So it's simple, right? You go to discordapp.com and you can just type in a username and add an account right away. It lets you have to put an email, of course, but you can just hop right in and be in the web app. Now we go to the next slide. We have multiple ways actually to use the platform. We can download the app on our system, on our computer, whether that be a Windows box, a iPhone, an Android, Apple. We can have an app downloaded, so it's a totally separate app, or you can also have it on our web app. So you don't actually have to download it if you're on a library computer, for example. All you have to do is open the app, sign in, and then sign out when you're done. It's also available for Linux. So I believe they've released a Raspberry Pi compatible version too. But that I think so. I have to check if it's actually 64-bit or not. But if it's not, you can always do the web version. So how to join a server? This is where there's a little green button down at the bottom of your servers that you have. If you create your new account, you won't have any servers on the side. So you click that green plus, and that will then give the option to either join a server or create a server. We probably don't want to create a server right away, although if we feel comfortable and say, I want to create a server for my summer program, we can do that. And we'll look at how Alaska did that a little while later. But joining a server, it gives you a link, an invite link. And when you receive an invite link, you can either just click click on it, just like you click on a Zoom link, it'll take you to kind of portal page where it'll then open up Discord and add you to that, or you can copy and paste it into this. Now, hopefully all of you have received an invite link for the T3 Alliance server and are in that. If you haven't, you can write in the chat and we'll send that to you right away, because we want everyone to be in this together. So it is important, once you sign up and get into your account, to verify your email address. That just, confirms that you're not a bot, that you are a real person, like some hacker guy, and you. So it'll tell you up at the top to say verify, and then you click on the button in your email to say verify. It's just a step that if you don't do, you might get blocked or something later on down the road. So usernames, nicknames, and user photos. So this is where, when you create your username, it's going to be something unique. It probably won't be your exact name. It'll be something like this example down here, a unique user ID. So this person decided to use Jake_the_programmer, right? That's where it is unique. It's definitely appropriate, but it's not your real name. You won't know exactly. If you have two students named Jake, then how's that going to work? So you can actually, on each different server, you can click on change your username. We'll talk about that in a second. The other things that we appreciate on T3 Alliance servers and kind of recommend for most educational servers is that your nickname is always identifiable, so it's your full name, and you can upload a photo of yourself, an appropriate identifiable photo of yourself, so that we can recognize you immediately. A lot of us don't know each other by name, by face. So that's just a helpful thing to do. And these next slides will look at how to do those things. So how to upload your user photos. This is where down on the bottom left side of the Discord place, that you'll see your name and a little gearbox. It's a settings. You can click on that. It'll give up your account. You can click edit on your account and change your photo. If you go to the next slide, I think we can see that. You can change your photo. You can also change your username if you want to. You can change it to some other username. If one of your students, for example, had a Discord account prior, and it has a vulgar username, like he decided to use a swear word in his username when he created it, or she, you can instruct them to say, hey, if you go back and please change your username to something not like that, then we'll feel better about having you in our course. So that is doable. It's not like you're stuck with it forever. But that's where you can add a photo on there. Now your nickname, and this is when you're in each individual server, you can change your nickname for that. So how you do that is you right click on your profile that you see in the right sidebar, and it'll then allow you to say, one of the options is change nickname, and you can set your nickname to your full name. The person doing this was obviously Daryl Albano, who took the screenshots originally. So you can change your name. What I've done, and what a few other people have done in our channel as well, has put our full name and then parentheses where we're from. I think that's a really nice way to kind of identify people in a secondary way. I say Gabriel Columbia. Dane says Dane AK. Adam can say Adam UAF. It's a nice way to verify and see who's there and where they're from, but it's not necessary. But what we do ask is real names, and that applies to all of the education servers that we kind of have. So how not to get overwhelmed, and this is important in Discord, because Discord is kind of by nature, I mean, the name Discord it means like chaotic, right? Like it's a very varied conversations and things going on, and it's not really structured. Now that can lead to, and it's advantageous to have that structure, because when you set aside those different buckets, there can be students here talking about pies, students here talking about 3D printing, other people talking about going hiking this weekend and sharing photos about that. So in order to kind of protect yourself from a barrage of bing, 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 bing notifications, it's important to know about the notification settings. And you can go in, and the notification settings it's actually in I think the little settings section next to the name of the channel, and you click that, and then it says open up notification settings, and you can decide to have all messages or notifications, only at mentions. So that's what I recommend. That's what I do in most servers. Although you can then go into individual channels and change those for individual channels. That's something important, and it's really just you exploring in there. You can mute individual channels too, like if you really don't need to know about a conversation in a certain channel, there's a mute button up on the right side, and that's a good way to stop getting overwhelmed. But if we are administrators, if we're being instructors and our students are chatting, we kind of want to be aware of what's going on. Now, number 3 really important note is post your comments, your questions in the right channel. Now, this is something that, the buckets, the conversation buckets, the different channels are created for a reason, so that there isn't a big cacophony of different conversations happening in the same place. So that's why on our T3 Alliance server, there is a 3D printing channel, a RPI channel, all these different ones. So we just, if we own a server and a student's asking about RPIs in the announcement section, then we can say, hey, please go do this in the RPI section. That kind of, we can be careful. So I guess the main points is, again, use the correct channel when you're asking questions and starting conversations. A good just tip and just habit to have is keeping Discord open while you're online. And that can be on your computer. If you work at a workstation at your desktop, just open it up and have it in the background so you can be aware of conversations and questions going on. You can say, oh, look, a student's asking me about this 3D printer that I have. Why don't I answer him? When you're in an educational server, especially, you change your nickname to something and your photo to something appropriate and identifiable. And what I thought that, I liked this phrase, community, not a classroom. Now, that's not supposed to be a negative thing, right? We know as instructors that sometimes classrooms can be overly structured in ways that doesn't promote that real open-minded, totally safe learning environment, creativity, and excitement for development. And that's what Discord is good at. Discord is supposed to be like those conversations that you have at recess with your students about, oh, I'm thinking about doing this science fair project, and it's going to be like that and that, and oh, what about this? It's that open community conversations. We do, make a lot of effort to make all of the conversations professional and appropriate and kind of on topic, but it's really community. It's supporting each other. Everybody answers someone's questions at once. That is what's beautiful. And once we'll learn in a little bit about the Discord channel that we're creating for the national courses, national virtual courses program. But that's where having that national community where we open up collaborations is going to be so powerful. Michael, I saw your question about what is an app mention. So I'll just address that really quickly. An app mention is when someone goes at Michael, what time do we have to be in the dorms tomorrow? That's where, so if someone just says, what time do we have to be in the dorms tomorrow without saying at Michael, you wouldn't get a notification. But when they do at Michael then you do get a notification. It's a great way to, yes, similar to a hashtag. And it's like in a Google Doc when you say plus this email address, right? It's notifying them and addressing them. So I'll give it back to Adam, and he'll go over Discord in the T3 Alliance, how we've been using it.
Yeah, thank you, Gabriel, and thank you, Michael, for that question. It's a good one, and I know that as we've been moving through things, we've been learning that trick on ourselves. I just wanted to show you in the T3 Alliance national server and in the T3 Alliance Alaska server, there's some assumptions that we make about when a person is coming in. We have them go through what's called a code of conduct. That's the first place they land. And I highlighted it right here, the get verified or the verification frequently asked. One of the tricks we did, and it's not a trick, the first time you got invited to the T3 Alliance server, you landed in a place where there were only 2 channels visible to you because you had no roles. You had to read our code of conduct, which essentially, we try to break it down to 2 things. One is we respect each other in here, and there is no harassment, that we try to keep it as a similar, growth mindset kind of speech environment. And then the other thing is that we call this a space to talk about projects and about issues that are going on with your Raspberry Pi stuff. So we try to give that new user the idea that, hey, there's some things that aren't accepted, and then there are things that I'm supposed to be posting about, but politics, whether or not your boyfriend broke up with you or something or other, shouldn't really be in the server that we're setting up for our participants. And that's where you in your own scenario can create it. I could imagine somebody creating a server just for like a dorm and saying, hey, let's do counseling in here. We're going to talk about, how you feeling, let's have some games and stuff. But we've set it up in that kind of a fashion. When we look at this Discord server, I've put a lot of energy, that idea that Gabriel said about post in the place where you want. Notice some of the topics that we put in here. There's the how to use Discord channel, which pops up right away. There's other ones like that we've used in T3 Alliance training and workshops. So everything associated with the 2020 February Puerto Rico training got dumped in there. Everything from, we're going to dinner tonight and here's who's on the list, to post a cool photo of something that just got done. But as an administrator, I've been struggling by putting what are the titles that people will use and come back to. I started with one called the water fountain for our Upward Bound class, and found that not all of my teachers knew what a water fountain referenced. Just a kind of place you hang out and chat. But that's okay. We have a chance to learn there. The server for the Upward Bound program. This is where I was going to talk about the code of conduct, and I'm happy to share this with any of you guys, so that if you want to copy and paste it and use pieces of it, then you're welcome to. The Upward Bound server code of conduct, they're supposed to read it, say, yep, I agree with it, and then tell everybody who you are. And that tells me as an administrator, or anybody who I've given that administrator permissions to, the knowledge that they can go in and right click on that user and give them a role. So all of you who I assume are in the T3 Alliance server, when you joined the first time, you couldn't see much until one of the 8 administrators or 5 administrators, however many we have, jumped on there, right-click, changed your role to an instructor, and then a whole bunch of stuff opened up. We can be more granular. We can make it so that certain categories are only seen by regions, by other things. Those are all options that we have to think about in the future. But that's what I'll say for UAF Upward Bound. I have found that you can have like up to 500 roles in your server. So the more roles that you have, the more granularity you're allowed to have as you choose where to put your students. These names on the side, Shishmaref, Chivak, Seward, Wrangell, these are examples of the towns that are served by our Upward Bound program. So I've started a role called Wrangell, And if a student is in Wrangell, if they're from that community, I put them in that category, and they're the only ones who can see Wrangell along with their instructor from Wrangell and myself. So that to me is powerful, to give students a place to have, here's my little classroom, if you call it, you know, it's my little chat space here. And then we can step outside of that and go to the national classroom where, or to a hallway, if you will, where other conversations can be had. And really, you know, I've gone through the experience of having sites come up to Alaska to visit, and we've put them into visitor categories, and we've had a lot of people in there. And this next step of the, you know, students coming onto the courses server is a much better organized system, because when we start getting lots and lots of students, then it becomes a much bigger full-time job to manage who's in which categories and how are things working. So here's what we think about when you bring students into Discord. First, like some Discord pre-training to let the students know, and we've built that into one of the courses there. We're happy to give you this Google Doc or this presentation and let you work with this to create something. But some pre-training for the students. Hey, what is okay, what's not okay? What's your code of conduct and what does it mean? Essentially for our students, if you do something that's not appropriate, you get one warning and then you're just off the Discord server. Mandatory use of real names and student roles are limited. Know, though, in the back of your mind that every student who's on Discord can create a separate subchannel. I mean, they can create a separate server if they want to bring the conversation outside. And this has been the reality for years as students have carried their own technology with them, that they can have an Instagram group or another group that goes along. We want the conversation to be in here because that way we can keep it as part of an extension and curate and make sure it's a safe environment. Now I'd like to let Jake kind of give us a little bit of a tour of the Learn-T3 virtual courses Discord, because I consider this that Maserati version where it's ready to expand to take 1,000 or so users. And as that happens, there's little check marks and things that make it feel more intimate, even though it's getting huge. So Jake is a computer engineering major from somewhere in Philadelphia, but he lives in Hilo, Hawaii, and he works with our website company. So Jake, go ahead.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Adam and Gabe, for inviting me to the webinar. Yeah, so I've been working on the Discord and website connection for the past month. So let me share what my thoughts are and some things that we've thought of to make Discord a safe place for students. Okay, so LearnDash is a WordPress plugin that's used to create the courses on the T3 Alliance website. So our idea is to combine LearnDash and Discord. And to do that, we use these things called webhooks. Pretty much what happens is in LearnDash, if a student joins a course, a webhook is sent to Discord. Discord reads it and then interprets that into a command. For example, if a student joins a course, then the student will be added into that course. And I'll show you later what it looks like. And for example, achievements, if someone completes a course, it'll have an achievement in the classroom saying, you know, this user completed the course, congratulate them. And also we have this idea called graduating. Once you complete a course, for example, if you complete the Raspberry Pi Starter course, the students will be put into a bigger global channel and graduate and be able to talk to everyone that also completed that course as well. So those are kind of ideas that we've been thinking about when developing this Discord. And next slide. Okay, so what I've created is a Discord bot that helps manage servers. It's treated just like a user. And as you can see on the left photo, you could see under the bot on the online members, you can see course bot. And that's completely automated. That's not a user. It's a program that runs. So getting server access. So this is our test server that we were we were developing for the students. This is specifically only for students and group leaders that have the T3 course classroom. So these terms might get a little confusing. I'm even confused, but I'm going to try my best to help explain what all this is. So when a student first joins Discord, Gabe went through the steps to actually join Discord. Now I'm going to talk about how to actually get server access, because that is a big problem. We don't want group leaders and admins to constantly have to verify students just to get into the server. So right now I'm going to show how this course bot would be able to verify students automatically through the T3 course website. So this is the page that, on Discord that students see when they first join. They only see a welcome rules and info category with the welcome and FAQ channels, text channels. And as you can see, there's an example welcome channel. Adam, can you go back one slide real fast? I still didn't.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. So to as you can see, I pointed at Gum Design, that username. That's me. That's what the screenshots were from. And that's the user. So that's going to be like an example of a new student. So what we're going to do is we're going to change a nickname to verify that you're a user. So within T3 courses, we already know that those are the students. We know if they're in T3 courses, they're verified. So I'm going to use that to verify it through Discord. It skips a step for admins they don't have to verify. So what happens is they're going to be able to change their nickname by going to the server settings and change nickname. That's just an example of changing their nickname through the server. Adam, you can go to the next slide, sorry. And then as you can see on the left, that's the window that comes up when you want to change the nickname. And under that is a 6-digit user ID that on the T3 course website will be given to the students to verify. And they will change their nickname to that user ID. And what happens is that on the next picture, that's when they're verified. And a bunch of new categories they're basically given access to the server, or not server, Discord server. And also you can see on the right side that their username is changed as well. Well, their nickname is changed. So that idea is that we're going to use the names from T3 course website that students already have, and we know that that's their name. So students actually don't even need to change their nickname, and will always know that that's the right people. So I want to also talk about, because students are given a unlimited time Discord link, that's what, we're going to welcome them into the server. It is possible for students to give it to other channels and advertise it, and so anyone can join the server. So this method also stops students from sharing it to a bunch of people and making it a huge problem because we don't know who's who. So anyone who's new and can't give a user member ID, we know that they're just not part of our T3 course. And this also makes the server exclusive only to people who go through the T3 course website. So a lot of things happen. Hopefully I explained most of it, but this is just an example of what a bot can do to automate the verification process, and it can do a lot more than that, but that's what I wanted to share with you guys today.
Thank you, Jake. I think that's pretty much the end of our presentation. If you go forward, Adam, I think that's the end of our presentation, I believe. So yeah, I think we're going to open up to questions, and thank you to Jake, who is here with us at 7 a.m. Hawaii time. And to everyone joining, please ask questions. I guess I can give a small update as well on the T3 courses development. We now, the courses are up. I mean, we have a few programs now who are started, 2 programs in Alaska, both UAF and UAA. And there are another couple of programs in the process. Their instructors have now started taking the instructor orientation. And in the next few days, I expect them to finish that. We can get their students online and into our very, very cool Discord that Jake has been helping us with. And we also have 3 more courses that will be added to the students' repertoire of courses that they have access to by today, actually. So it's really exciting. Now, please unmute yourselves and turn your cameras on. We love to see everyone who's here, and start asking questions, sharing your comments. What are your experiences with Discord so far? Yeah.
Yeah. Any questions? No. If not,
are any of you thinking of starting a Discord with your programs if you haven't done so yet, or are you guys using mostly other Google Classroom-esque kind of programs?
Well, for me personally, I'm thinking like, I know like obviously for my classroom, I'm going to be using the Discord server for my students, but as like a team in whole for Town Search, I'm possibly going to be starting a server for just us so we can communicate like on a professional network that's faster than our emails.
Right, for sure. Very cool, Taj, thanks.
You're welcome.
We'll definitely use it for the summer program.
awesome.
It's a lot easier to keep track with the kids because they're not answering emails for definite.
Right. No, this is.
And it's easier to do text messaging that way instead of putting in everybody's. So looking forward to getting them all to sign on to Discord and just being able to send out messages that way.
Yeah.
And getting
the
them
best.
to respond.
Definitely. A really cool part about Discord is that so many students already use it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's, Michael, yeah.
I just have a question. Have you run into any issues with schools not allowing access via the Chromebooks that they issue to their students to Discord? Because basically it was a gamer's format. And I know that the Green Bay Public Schools have Discord basically blocked.
Yeah.
I'm tending to have them put it on the phones and just ignore the school.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry.
There you go.
I mean,
That's my thought.
Yeah. Surmeet is here. She's one of our teachers in, or a counselor in Brevig Mission, where they've blocked Discord as well. So it's been, I've sent a couple emails to the district tech superintendent, letting them know that no, it's being used for purposes that are positive, but again, the other solution is that most students who have a cell phone are carrying their own connectivity on that way. And I do like the fact that it's relatively low bandwidth. So, students who have limited internet connection, they can stay connected with that as it goes.
So they have to have the app downloaded on their phone for
Yes.
for them to receive.
Yes.
mm,
And most of my students I'm talking to already have it.
Yeah. That's
The majority of the students I'm talking to already have it.
That's what my experience has been too. It's like, once you say, hey, we've got a Discord channel, there's an immediate, whoa, cool.
What is it and what do I need to do to join?
Right. Send me the
That's what I'm
invite.
getting. So I'm not worrying about it.
What's been difficult for me is if I'm not ready for them to join, like this year, we're not trying to focus sending all of our students to the UAF Discord server. I'm just using that one for staff right now. We're waiting for the courses Discord server to be the area in which our students live in Discord, because first those notifications that pop up, meaning, hey, you just graduated this course, congratulations, or way to go on your first post. All those little like feel good bot generated posts that can be congratulatory are awesome. And the potential to have my students or our students here in Alaska talking to your students in Texas, talking to your students in Wisconsin, talking to that, to me is awesome. And we
That's
have,
what sold the course to my president.
oh, good. Well,
Before that, he was like, no.
yeah. Well,
When I told him that my kids are going to be able to talk to kids in Alaska, Hawaii, and anywhere else, all kind of the places in the United States, he said, okay.
okay, awesome. Well,
That's what sold it.
This is the part that we've been putting a lot of care into making sure that it's engineered well, and it's been really nice to have Jake working with us with the automatic verification and everything, because as you know, as people who are allowing teenagers to get online, you know, there's fear out there of what's going to happen, how is it going to be managed, and just know that we've got every instructor from a university who joins is going to be able to see what's happening in the hallway. And what I've watched is when a problem comes up or when a discussion comes up, it's like we mentioned, a lot of people eyes are on it, and we can keep them to those two goals we have of no harassment, and we can define what harassment looks like, and keep the conversations about projects here, just so we don't open up cans of worms that are like, you know.
See, at first this year, they were telling me I couldn't use Zoom. And I went, excuse me, your students are already being used or have been using Zoom for years with Sol Ross. And they went, they are? And I'm like, yeah, they are. And they went, we didn't know that. That's against the law. And I'm like, no, it isn't. You want to talk to the Department of Ed? I've got the phone number right here.
Right.
Let me call them up for you. And they went, they're like, but it's a FERPA thing. And I'm like, no, it isn't. It's not against FERPA. They went, yeah, it is. And I'm like, no, it isn't. I've got Department of Ed. I can call him right now, put you up, connect you to him, and he'll tell you it's not against FERPA law. I've already gone through that with him.
Well,
I go, so we're going to use Zoom this summer. And they went, okay, you're going to monitor it. And I'm like, yes, we're going to monitor it. We're going to make sure that there's no FERPA laws broke with Zoom. And then he goes, okay. And then I'll go, okay, then we're going to do the STEM online. And he goes, okay, but you're going to monitor it. And I went, yes, we're going to monitor it. And then I didn't even mention Discord. I'm just going to act like it's part of that whole thing. And I'm not going to even mention the word Discord, because to me, it's part of the package.
right. It's built in. It's that.
And so long as we're using, we're not, it's not being, their names are not being distributed to the public, the general public. It's a closed channel. You're okay, FERPA laws.
So sorry to interrupt.
I'm sorry.
But I just wanted to answer John's question. So he asked about other discussions people can join in Discord. Adam briefly talked about it. People can go to a COVID server and talk about that. But I just wanted to share from my experience how I use Discord, especially as a programmer. So I joined. I'm going to look it up real fast, what exact server I joined. It's called the Coding Den. So it's a server that is partnered with Discord. And I joined it, and I go there to have other people help me with my coding problems. So I would just go to the correct category, such as Java. And then there's a Java channel, which I can put my Java, which the Discord bot is coded in the language coded in is JavaScript. So I would put in JavaScript my problem, what's going on, and about 4 or 5 people will actually reply within 20 to 30 minutes, helping me with my problem. So like exact, links to a similar issue that someone was having in Stack Overflow, or just, tell me more info. You gotta give me more code. That's always, in programming, you gotta give all your specs and all your code. So that's just an example of how I use it. I also have, I'm in a coronavirus server where they have updates, news. There's debates going on all the time. There's a channel for different regions. There's like 4 or 5 different news channels, like Twitter, Instagram, A lot of automated stuff there as well. There's charts. I mean, there's a lot of things to go on, not only for gaming now. Discord was originally created for gaming, but it evolved into these communities that come together and just they have a platform to talk about pretty much anything about the topic, and especially like debating. Like imagine like 100 to 1,000 people debating about an issue. Everyone's literally always online. Like there's going to be always someone online that you can talk to, and you can ping, right? You can mention all the moderators or all the admins or all the group leaders. You can say, you know, I have a question, and if you have the power to mention all the group leaders, you may. That's also a thing too. Discord, there's a lot of settings that you can change. You don't have to give students the power to mention everyone. You know, like you don't want people spamming the @ everyone and everyone's always getting the ping. You can limit that from everyone, and only give it to people you know, that are deemed worthy of the role. So there's a lot of settings that the bot can help as well, and such as spam. You can disable links so students aren't advertising, you know, any of their own servers or anything like that. You can disable pictures. You can only put pictures in a certain channel, such as a share project channel. That's the only place you can put pictures. So there's a lot of different settings that you can use in Discord. And I think even from a professional standpoint, as a college student in a computer science field, there's a lot of opportunities for me to share my projects on the Coding Den server that I'm on, or help other people and practice my skill and as well. So yeah, I just wanted to add that, and I hope that answers John's question.
All right. Well, I see an opportunity here, just in all this enthusiasm and discussion here, to like start a new channel in our T3 Alliance Discord server about if you want to start a Discord server, because this is something that many of you guys are going to be walking through. And if you are doing one for your own, then I think we got some tips and tricks that we can share, and certainly any of the, you know, the use policy things and whatever permission forms we're using. But it's 9:55. We've been on for a while. If there's any more questions, love to hear them. Otherwise, we're going to go ahead and end this recording, and thank you guys all for being here today. Can you resend the invite to Discord server? Yes, you bet. We will make sure everybody on this thing, or I think I can just put it right in the chat right here. Or Gabriel, can you do that? Get the invite so that it's there.
Sure, the invite to the Discord.
Yeah, to the T3 Alliance Discord.
Sure.
All right, everybody. Well, I'm stopping recording. Thank you so much for joining us for another episode of our T3 Thursdays. Who knows what's going to be next week? I'm thinking something about videography as like a thing that your students can do videography with their cell phone, making a 1-minute video, but we'll figure that out. An announcement will come out soon. So
I can also give a small update for those of you who are a part of our T3 Alliance Learn Dash virtual courses. I, as the Learn Dash courses coordinator, I've kind of stepped into that role. We'll be hosting weekly webinars, kind of roundtable discussions for all of our instructors and staff involved with using the Learn Dash LMS platform with their students. So that'll be starting next week soon. As soon as our Discord is up, I believe I'll be sharing links for that. But I look forward to seeing you there. And I see, you know, Michael and Co and I think Ida as well is getting into that. So we'll share that information as it comes up.